All right, how's it going, everyone? We're back. We're back. Patterdale Talk Wednesdays. Hey, I got the bro Chird over here, and yeah, we're just gonna talk today. No. Last couple of videos we did, was probably like a specific thing we was gonna talk about. You know what I mean? But today we're just gonna talk about game different. We're talking about everything Patterdale is what we do. Everything and anything Patterdale is what we do here. You wanna say anything before we get started, bro?
Yeah, I just want to put this out here, like I did on the last interview I did. Everything that I say is my personal opinion. All right. And whatever I say is what I found to be true. If you want to prove me wrong, prove me wrong. Go ahead. I ain't scared to be proved wrong. But
And sometimes you're both right.
Yeah.
In some situation.
And sometimes. But the other thing I'm gonna say is the only people that are scared of the truth, bro, are the people who ain't been truthful. So all the people out there that like I ain't even gonna lie, bro. Last podcast we did, I was a little bit reserved. I ain't gonna be reserved. All these people who claim that there's Patterdale lines out there that ain't got bull blood in them, I call bull on it, bro. All Patterdales got bull in it, bro. It was an essential part of what went into them, all the way to what the best bloodlines in America are. Trust me, in this episode, we'll get into what I believe are the best bloodlines in America. Like, whatever you got questions for me, bro, go ahead, ask them. You want to know something about how I feel like something? People want to ask that on the actual.
Yeah, they could always comment. They know that they could always comment in the chat.
Yeah, and you can. And I mean, bro, like, since the time that I did that last interview to the time now, bro, I've learned things about people that I'm like scratching my head at. Like, how are you gonna breed dogs, but you don't test them? You just have other people test them for you. Like, we can get into it all, bro. We can get.
I've seen some situations where, again, I use where I'm at, for example, just for like that one thing you just said right there. Not saying this is always the case, but I know, like, for where I'm at, there's not a crazy amount of game.
Yeah.
So I might, you know what I mean? I might, if I had a good friend somewhere where I know there's a whole bunch of game and my dog's actually going to get tested more out there than it would with me, then that might be a reason why I let someone else test it, just because where they're at, it's going to get tested. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's anything wrong, but what I'm saying is you breed dogs and openly admit to people behind closed doors that you ain't tested a dog personally.
Oh yeah, that's a little different.
That right there is a peddler. That's what you call a peddler. That's what you call a puppy mill. That's what you call somebody who's doing it to make a quick buck and trying to make a famous name off themselves.
I agree with that.
Because
I agree with that.
And we covered this on the last episode. In my opinion, papers are for one thing and one thing only: selling dogs. I got, out of all the dogs I've ever owned, I've only got one dog's paper, and it's hanging up on my wall. That's how good that dog was. One dog. Out of all the yogs, out of all the pit bulls, out of all.
So you think that? So I mean, just like you just said, you have that one dog that had papers, and it's so good. It's so good that the papers are on the wall. So wouldn't that be another reason where it's like I might want the papers, just because when I get a pup, you get a pup, whatever, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, you might not know that this might be one of your legendary dogs or one of your favorites. You might, you might think back when she's 2 or he's 2 and say, damn, I wish I had the papers because this is now my favorite dog. Just even if it wasn't to breed it, just for you.
Here's the thing. The PTCA always takes money to register your dog. This dog was 6 years old when he finally got registered.
Say that again? I don't know.
No, you're good. The PTCA always takes money. They always will register your dog. This dog was 6 years old before he ever got registered.
Oh yeah, you could. You don't have to. So yeah, I get what you're saying. You could wait till it's a dog that that you really like to register. If you, I agree with that.
And this is, but in layman's terms, the only reason why he ended up getting registered was because his breeder asked me to.
Yeah. Okay.
His breeder asked me to. If it was me, I would have had his handwritten pedigree, and I would have done that.
101 Kennel said, a peddler by definition is someone selling and or gifting dogs.
Well, then great. My opinion on what a peddler is somebody who sells them for money and sells them to make a profit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, anyone who's selling anything, I think they're trying to make elite. I think 90% of them are trying to make some money. Some people just might be trying to get their money back. But
if you're doing it to make anything more than what you spend on shots and to put food into your other dog's mouth, we don't agree. Like me personally, we don't agree. Because
I always say, everyone has their own opinion. I'm not. I mean, I don't know. At the same time, it's like, so say if you had a male and a female.
Yeah.
They're 3-4 years with old, whatever. Now these dogs, you work them right. They're working right. You got them right. Not only do they work right, they eat healthy. You took your time in to work them, make them strong as hell. Not just, I leave them in a kennel and then when it's time to go hunt, I bring them out. No, that the off days I got them on treadmill. I got them swimming or whatever the case might be. Now I got two, I don't know what you want to say. And then, okay, even further, let's say these same dogs, say these dogs end up being, like champion type dogs. Where they were, champions in real hunting competitions, not like, oh, they went through a box. Now they're both champions in real hunting competitions. You don't think, and now you breed them together, you don't think them pups are worth money?
let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Who breeds the best Patterdales in the United States?
I don't know that.
Because in my opinion, the two best men who breed Patterdales in the United States, they won't charge a dime for a effing dog, dude. And they put their heart, soul, and 40 years in some cases into breeding them dogs, and they won't sell a dog.
They won't sell them, but they're not giving them away to no one.
Yeah, but they're
giving them away to a certain. Now, if it got to the case where they started, say if they had 10 dogs that they might need to get rid of to nobodies, they'll probably sell them to those nobodies or sell them. You know what I mean? No? I don't know the people you're talking about, so
certain that I know for certain. If one of his dogs doesn't work out with that person, he gets that dog back.
Oh, I know people who do that. I know people who even if it's not in the Patterdale world, they'll take the dog back and give you your money back. You know what I mean?
That person allow any of his dogs to go to just anybody. He doesn't just breed dogs and then have excesses laying over.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who do. I know people who, gonna sell their dog to whoever got the money, and I know people who gonna sell their dog to only, even if they sell them, I know people who are gonna sell them to certain people that are only gonna work them or do certain way. And then I know people like you said that that have great dogs and they'll give them away. You know what I mean? Obviously, to certain people. Obviously,
And I get that, but in my opinion, bro, the dogs, once you start introducing money to dogs, it starts ruining them. Because this, and I know I've covered this on the last time we talked. That I'm like, hey, the dog costs this much. If you show up and you come hunting with me and you prove you're not just wanting the dog because you've seen me on Facebook or Instagram or any of that other stuff, bro, I'm probably going to give you the dog for free. But if you just run your mouth and you're constantly, oh, I just want a dog from you. I just want a dog from you. I just want a dog from you. I'm going to shoot you a crazy price to scare you away, to see if you're actually willing to do that. Because if you're actually willing to pay a ridiculous amount of money for a puppy, bro, in my opinion, we got two different understandings of what it is for what these dogs should be and how they should be broadcasted to the entire world.
But does that mean now because you got two different opinions, does that mean one person is wrong? Or
On what?
I mean, like so you say you think, because me personally, I think every dog's worth some type of money. Me personally, not just Patterdales. It could be any dog in any dog world. Me personally, if someone took, if someone even, if someone took the time and took the risk, because every time someone breeds their dog, as we all know, it's also a risk on your dog too. So someone took the time, the risk and all that with their female. And then again, if you got someone where, if like I was saying, if you got something where it's like two champion dogs that really been, that are in the bloodlines pure and all that, I think I don't know how you would say that dog's worth the same amount as some bullshit ass Patterdale.
Because every Patterdale that I have had, with one, every single Patterdale that I have had hasn't been pure. They haven't been registered. And even the ones that I have bought that have been pure and registered, bro, they all call the same. You find the dog where you find the dog. It doesn't matter about 20 years ago, the genetics of a dog being bred. It doesn't matter about that. It matters about what that dog has in it right then and there. That's why.
Yeah. So if you got a dog, if you got a pup where it's like, oh, both the parents are champions, both their parents got.
Yeah, but
their stature's good, their conformation's good, their bite's good, and you breed
you're taking into account things that, yes, while they do apply to the pup, a year down the line, bro, you don't know what that puppy's gonna do. Because I know for a fact that I have several friends that have paid $1,500, $1,200, whatever it is. Even myself, bro, I've paid a crap ton of money for dogs, and they've all called the same. So in my opinion, I would rather never have that never done. I would rather just do it and give a person an opportunity to hunt the dog and just making money in dogs, bro. It's just something that I will never personally agree with. If you want to do it, that's great. If the next person wants to do it, that's great. Whatever they want to do. But I'm saying for me personally and the people that I associate with, they don't be looking to make money off of Patterdales.
Yeah, I would agree with that, where I'm not saying, oh, you should be out here breeding dogs to make money. To each his own. If that's what you do, that's it. That's some people, if that's what you need to do, if it's good for you, then that works. You know what I mean? Do you, your own man, everyone got their own opinion. But I do feel like I do feel like dogs, no matter what the dogs are or who the dog is owned by, that is worth, that is worth some type of money. I'm not saying it got to be no crazy shit like some of these dogs out here that people are paying money for and stuff like that. But
and if you sell it like I can't knock as much the people who are like selling dogs just to get back the price of like the vaccines and the price of the food for the mom. Okay, I can't knock you for doing that. But anything past that, like, that's when it starts getting iffy. And even then, bro, it starts getting iffy for me personally, because I would rather just I would rather just, unless it's somebody else's dog that I'm helping sell, me personally, I'd rather just gift a person a dog and not even worry about it. But I have, I know people that have wanted to sell dogs like, hey, I got this dog. He's not really what I'm looking for, but he doesn't deserve to be a cull. Hey, I want what I paid for him in shipping. Okay. That's reasonable to me. Okay. But that's not charging some crazy amount. Like, like anything past that, bro, for me, that's when it just starts getting iffy in my mind. And that's why I just don't even touch it in general. And like I said, I'll shoot people crazy amounts to see how serious they are, because people in this day and age, bro, they flake like none other. They flake.
Yeah.
And so I'll shoot you a crazy amount and see if you're really interested or see if you're just window shopping. But at the end of the day, bro, like if you take the time to drive from wherever you are, even if it's an hour away, 30 minutes away, and you take the time to come over, introduce yourself, speak to me, get to know me, like I've gotten the opportunity to do with several of who I consider to be the best terrier men in the nation, like Robbie Robinette.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like Robbie invited me up to go hunting with him. I don't think a lot of people realize how crazy of an opportunity that is. That man is the gold standard when it comes to him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like we may share some differing opinions on things. We may share some different opinions on dogs, but as a standard, bro, hospitality out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of have the same kind of understanding. You know, he would always, you know, we were talking about it and I was like, yeah, I was like, the best dogs come free. And he was like, you know what? I happen to agree with you on that. You know, there's people in this game who have made me and formed me to believe why I believe what I believe. And there's other people out there who, you know, I don't want to name drop because I haven't cleared it with them if it's okay to speak about it. But like, there's other people that are up north, bro, that have been in these dogs for a long, long, long time. Longer than I've been alive, probably longer than a lot of people have been alive. And they have the same beliefs that money ruins dogs. My biggest mentor, like CJ, bro, my biggest mentor in these dogs is CJ. And he has told me from the get-go, money ruins dogs.
I mean, money, shit. Money ruins everything, not just dogs. Money will ruin the whole goddamn family. You know what I mean?
But it's like you have all these people that have been in these dogs, in my opinion, for 20 years, 40 years, 15 years, you know, whatever it is. But it's like, when I look back at it, bro, all the people that have been in these dogs for a long time, consistently in these dogs for a long time, and still have a lot of friends in these dogs, bro, they all share that common denominator. They all share it. They all share the same common denominator too. They don't like certain dogs for certain reasons. They don't ever talk about it. But, you know, they look for.
And I mean, I think that's also some of the reasons why people, you know, pay for dogs. If you know, I mean, it's all, nothing's guaranteed. You know, if you, again, like I was using the example, just because you have, you know, you could have two dogs, two parents with crazy bite, doesn't mean all the pups are going to come out with crazy bite. And you know what I mean? Nothing's guaranteed. But I think, you know, that's like you said, you pay for a certain, like you might want a dog with a certain thing. Both his parents have it. You might pay for that. Pay for more of a chance of having that. You know what I mean? I guess because again, nothing's guaranteed. But I mean, it's, again, I don't think dogs are worth, you know, you got to pay crazy money. But I think all dogs are worth something. Of course, you're gonna give away dogs to friends and certain people that you might think, oh, he's gonna do the right thing with the dog, because I have, you know what I mean? I've given away plenty of puppies, even if it wasn't Patterdale puppies, you know what I mean? But
I mean, every person, like we've both stated, every person's gonna have their own thing. And like I said at the beginning of this podcast, everything that I feel is my personal opinion. If you feel differently, that's the beauty about where we live. We live in America. We can have the difference of opinion. It's going to be a free society, hopefully, for the rest of, you know, whatever it is. But like, for me personally, that's just, it's not what I believe should happen in the dogs, bro. I don't think that they should be an outrageous amount of money to get into it. I don't think that somebody should have to risk, you know, $1,500 or $1,000 or even $800 on a puppy from somebody, and they get sold a false dream, and then the dog culls when it gets older. Like, I don't think that should be
I mean, that's true too. But a lot of times too, you gotta. A lot of it's the handler too, in my opinion. You know, because I've seen people with good dogs and ruin them. I've seen people with dogs that someone else thought they were just, oh, piece of shit dogs, and then they take them and and work with them a little longer, take their time with that dog, and a year later, that dog's one of their best dogs. But you had to do it a certain way and take your time with that dog a little different from the others. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, yeah,
So
there's people on the groups, bro, that are putting 6-month-old dogs down holes.
mhm,
I don't
mhm.
know, but if that's what you want an early starting dog, congrats, go ahead. But how many of them dogs are still hard at 2, 3 years old? You know, like me personally, the one dog that I've seen that started really, really early, bro, she didn't last that long.
Meaning she got killed, or meaning she just like
Meaning she quit.
just curd? Yeah, just quit.
Yeah, she curd. So it's like it's a give and a take. For me personally,
See, I think that's also. I think that's a lot. Me personally, I think when stuff like that happens, I think it's a lot has to do with the genetics and the handler, because I've seen both. I mean, I know a guy who puts his dogs in at 6 months, and he has dogs that are 5, 6 years old still banging. You know what I mean? They did the same thing. They never did. They're not stopping or showing any signs of stopping. You know what I mean? But of course, you could also cur a dog doing that too early. Like I didn't do that with my dog. That's a little too early for me.
I,
You know what
I
I mean? But
I personally think that the
mhm,
first dog should see some stick is like 8 months old on like something that's half dead, and then you should really start kind of ramping it up at about a year.
mhm,
Anything for that, bro, you're just asking for the dog to get in trouble. Because the hardest a dog will be is its first interaction. It don't know any better. It's never experienced pain. It's never experienced being bit in the face. So it doesn't know. So it's going to be the hardest it's ever been in that first encounter.
mhm.
And to me, that's facts. That is facts. Because I have had dogs that have looked
So you think an 8-month-old pup that whatever you give it a half dead groundhog is gonna go harder than a 2.5-year-old dog that already done killed 20 groundhogs?
in that exact instance, yeah, because it doesn't know any better. That older dog's been bit. That older dog knows. That young dog is just rushing blind in, no fear, no hesitation, no looking for anything different, and just hits, and it's learning as it's going. Because
Yeah,
did you
but like you
have
said, it's learning as it's going. So you would say that's better. You say a dog that's learning as it's going is gonna hit harder than a dog that's experienced and already done killed shit.
yeah,
Because it's like, okay, it's basically comparing. It's like it basically is. So you think a beginner's gonna hit harder than a vet?
yeah. Did you have when you were a kid, did your mom ever tell you not to touch a stove and you still touched it?
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, no. But did you still touch it?
no, of course not. But
No,
at the same time, it's like,
you didn't.
okay, so I coach football, tackle football with kids.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna tell. I'm never gonna tell you when a kid was 6 years old on 6U, they hit harder than a kid that's on 12U that knows how to hit now because they've been doing it for 6 years.
yeah. But if you took that 12-year-old and you gave him the same size as a 6-year-old, and you took away all the hesitation, because it's not the same. Dogs and humans ain't the same. A
True.
dog at 8 months old, bro. I've got a dog out there right now that
Hold on.
is.
Let's 1 second. Let's 1 second. Not to actually finish your sentence and then we'll get into the
Yeah,
chat.
no.
My fault. Finish your
I
sentence.
got,
Finish your sentence.
I got a dog outside. So does one of my friends. That's
Hmm.
8 months old. I guarantee you that dog is going to hit something harder than one of my females out there who is a bayer. I guarantee it, because that
Just
dog.
talking about mentally. Obviously not physically because the other dog's stronger. So
Yeah,
they're not
no,
gonna hit harder.
but
You're talking about mentally.
but mentally they are going to hit. They are going to want to hit because they don't know any different. They don't know a difference. They have
Yeah,
never been.
comparing it to a dog that knows it will kill it. It's like when I say the football, like I was using football for example. Is a 6U kid that's going to hit, and he don't know it's gonna hurt or none of that yet. But then there's a 12-year-old kid that loves to hit and loves to hurt. He's hitting for that, where the 6-year-old kid don't even know what he's doing yet.
Or the kid learns, oh, crap, that hurts, and has hesitation.
True, but I just said for example, this kid loves the hurt. This kid wants, you know what I mean?
How many kids are there that love the hurt versus how many kids have hesitation? Because in my experience, when it comes to dogs, there are a whole hell of a lot more bayers who start off hard and then learn to bay than there are dogs that start hard and end hard. Because my definition of a dog that is hard is probably way different than most people's.
So what's your definition of a dog that's hard?
Never gives up, would die in the hole. Not baying, never.
I would say that as far as the people I hunt with and the people I know, they all want dogs that are gonna die in the hole.
Yeah, but they don't bay. When I say a hard dog, bro, if you don't have a David collar, you ain't finding the dog. I'm talking it bites once and it doesn't let go. It keeps getting bit in the face.
Yeah, that's the dogs I know, and
no regrips, no moving about, no nothing. Silence. That's a hard.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, because some dogs just make more noise than others, just because that's just how the dogs are. That's in any game, I would say, though.
You know the difference between the sound of a I'm getting bit in the face and a sound of frustration.
Yeah. True.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that is my definition of a hard dog. I think that
I get that. I could see that. I'm still having trouble understanding how you think a 6-month-old dog would hit harder. Because you're basically saying, okay, if we was talking about someone at the range, you're talking about a beginner who's probably don't know the recall, who's probably gonna flinch a little, maybe close his eyes, to an assassin.
You're taking that as somebody who's seen someone get shot, who's seen someone shoot a gun.
No, I'm talking about a beginner who's never shot a gun, who's never seen someone get shot. That's what I'm saying. You're saying to be a beginner with his first gun, never seen someone get shot, first time at the range.
Yeah, and
he's gonna go harder than someone who's an assassin? Who's been doing it for?
Always give the beginner a shotgun, bro. Why do you think they always give him a 12 gauge? Because they think it's funny because he doesn't know any better.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because I mean, listen, like we've stated before, we can all have different opinions.
Yeah, of course.
And in my opinion, bro, a dog will be the hardest at its first encounter. All the guys in Europe where we still import our dogs from will tell you that.
Yeah, but just because they're in Europe don't mean they're right.
I mean, we still import dogs from them for a reason, don't we?
I mean, you do.
Oh, I've never imported a dog from Europe.
The people I hunt with don't, but I know a lot of people who do. I know a lot of people who do.
Where did they all come from? Where did every single bloodline in America come from?
I mean, yeah, if you're going that route, you could say that about damn near every dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're talking about 30, 40 years ago.
Okay, or I'm talking about the dogs that were just recently imported and are now the new hottest fashion.
Could be that too. But at the same time, we're in two different crowds too.
Yeah, we're in two different crowds because in my personal opinion, the hardest dog that you know right now probably would not make it in a beaver den in Oklahoma. It would get killed. It would.
It would. To me personally, it would come down to size. Now where I'm at, you're not gonna run into a lot of beaver dens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So there's no sense of having where I'm at that you're gonna run into some good sized coon. You're gonna run into fox. you're gonna run into a lot of groundhog holes. So you're gonna, even if you have, and that's what most people over on like my side do, is most of them try to have, a small dog and a good sized dog, just because you could run into the big coon, you could run into the good sized fox. But if you have that coon dog, that Patterdale that's even shit 15 pounds, 14 pounds, that dog's not getting into a lot of the groundhog, 90% of the groundhog holes where I'm at.
Yeah, and vice
You know
versa.
what I mean? So, and that's the thing where,
With it,
go ahead.
and vice versa. You come to Oklahoma, Texas, or Kansas with anything less than like a 16-pound dog, and your dog's gonna be hurting. It's gonna get.
I mean, it makes sense. You're fighting bigger game. I mean,
yeah,
that's how it goes.
And like we said beforehand, if I lived over where you are, I probably would have a way different viewpoint on what it is. But I'm dealing with what I see here right now.
Our viewpoint ain't too different. For me, it's like, it's really where you're at. And from what I've learned in my conclusion of just really like the arguments I've heard, and the lives and all the interviews I did, and talking to people like yourself who got a lot of experience and know what they're talking about, it's really just a matter of where you're at. Again, where I'm at, there's a lot of groundhog holes. They're small, so you're gonna want a 10, 11-pound dog. But if I'm somewhere where my dog's running into beaver dens, like you said, or you know what I mean, or running into coons that are, boar coons or whatever, all that type shit all the time, then yeah, I'm gonna have something bigger. That's just really just being really responsible in logics.
And
you know what I mean? That's really just kind of like, it gets argued a lot, which is crazy, because it's really like, bro, just look where you're at. Like, of course, if you know what I mean, it's kind of like you said, like I wouldn't expect a 10-pound dog or a 12-pound Patterdale to go into a beaver den and kill a beaver. You know what I mean?
But you can also understand where us people that are down here who really know what it is to kill a big coon hear from people that, oh, my dog can do that.
There's big coons everywhere though.
Yeah. But how often?
Like, I'm in the city. Some of these coons are eating steak and cheeses at McDonald's. They're fucking obese.
How are you putting your dog on?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be a responsible owner to put my 10-pound Patterdale on a. It's not about me sticking out. For me, it's not about me sticking out, because that's a lot of what happens in the dog world in general. Like, people forget. Now you're just sticking out your chest because you're mad about what the other person's saying. So you guys are just going back and forth, but no one's thinking logically. Like, I wouldn't even be responsible owner to send my dog on no fucking boar coon or 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of, but
there's, at the same time, while I understand that, dude,
mm-hmm.
there are people who have told me
oh yeah,
that their small dogs can do the same thing that mine do. And I'm just trying to bring light to the fact that they cannot.
Yeah, that we spoke. That's been a I don't want to say argument, because everything's love here on this live, and but that was a conversation a couple times on here where it was like, oh, because I've seen both sides. I've seen people say, oh, my 10-pound Patterdale, my 11-pound Patterdale can kill a boar coon. Then I've seen people say my 15-pound Patterdale, 16-pound Patterdale can get into a groundhog hole. Me personally, they're both wild. I don't see your 10-pound dog is not. You might get that one dog who's just a throat assassin who goes to the throat and he catches the coon quick. Just how you might get that short guy who catches the tall guy on the chin and knocks him out. But that's the 1 out of 10. You know what I mean? The other 9, the big guy's probably gonna slam him on his neck. You know what I mean? So because I've seen smaller dogs do crazy shit, but they were just you know, at the same time they had the right angle, they just got lucky at that time. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, and I argue to people, not argue, but I've seen conversations where it's like, oh, my 15-pound dog could get into a groundhog hole. No, it can't. And if it is, it's a big groundhog hole. You know what I mean?
Because I'm gonna say the dog that I told you that got papers on the wall right now, he's a groundhog. He was 16 pounds. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
So,
And I've seen a 16-pound dog. I've seen a 16-pound dog dig to groundhogs. My cousin's dog is about 16 pounds and he has dug the groundhog.
but he's not getting every groundhog. But he's not getting every groundhog.
I was about to say there's a lot of holes that he can't get into where my girl Sin is 10 pounds and she slides right in the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Slides right in the shit where it's boom is gonna he'll be there digging for an hour. And that's just to use as an example because I know my cousin wouldn't mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because you know what I mean? But
I mean, in a lot of respects, man, I've had some pretty small dogs. I
love them all, man. Live your life, dogs. We love all dogs. So
yeah, I've only had one dog who was any sort of small, not make a sound, not bay, not do anything on a raccoon, and I've had plenty of them. I mean, there's even big dogs out there right now that are getting posted and bred on Facebook groups that are 20 plus pounds and they're banging, bro.
Yeah. And
that to me is just wild to see the difference in what people expect to come from a dog. If I owned a 20, 21, 22 pound Patterdale and that thing was banging, it ain't gonna be no more. Like, he ain't gonna be on my yard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see people who have 10-pound Patterdales that were, if they were the same size, they wouldn't have an ounce of bay in them. You know? Like,
yeah, I mean, any dog, when I'm training my dog, I'm trying to turn the bay shit all the way off. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I'm trying to have a dog that, you know, engages. You know what I mean? Now, as far as like, I get what you're saying as far as like I'm not too mad if there's a dog who gets bit and makes a noise. As long as you don't let go, as long as you still go to war, you know what I mean? I'm not too mad. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather a dog that just, you know, probably just doesn't make any noise, but I'm not mad at it if it still does its job as far as, you know, grabbing it, holding it. I get down there and do what I gotta do because again, we're a team. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at that. So
be mad at that either. I wouldn't be mad at that either. But I also wouldn't call that dog a hard dog.
Just because it makes a noise when it gets touched, you don't think it's hard
or gets bit?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not. You know, I gotta ask.
Me personally, bro, I've got friends that would, if a dog got bit in the face and went, it ain't no more. They don't keep it on their yard.
Hey, to each our own. I'm not gonna take it that far because I've seen dogs who make noise and they still do their job. So I'm not gonna take it that far as I would get. I wouldn't work the dog anymore or get rid of the dog. But I mean, again, to each his own. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at anyone, you know, unless they're doing something ridiculous with dogs, but I'm not mad at it. So
yeah, if anybody's mad at that fact, that just speaks to the fact of because like how I was mentored in this, bro. I remember when I figured out what a hard dog was, when my buddy told me a story about his 12-pound dog getting a river otter and getting his face torn off
and still fighting.
He didn't make a sound. The only reason he knew that his dog was on something was because he could hear the gurgling that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, that's when I decided, you know what, that's a hard dog. And again, to each their own. People are going to have different definitions.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is when I hear people say, "Oh, I've got a hard dog. Oh, I've got a hard dog. Oh, it's going to come out and it's gonna be
It's
hard.
definitely the the word hard dog or the phrase hard dog, I should say, is definitely used more than it should be and exaggerated. So I
Yeah,
agree with that as far as like, even if you have a good dog and a dog that does his job doesn't mean it's a hard dog. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So I agree with that too. But
And and I have dogs out on my yard right now that are not hard dogs, and they do their job.
mhm,
You will never once hear me tell anybody that dog is hard.
hard though, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it.
They're a rough mixer because I have one, maybe two. We'll see. We'll see if this dog makes it through the season.
Hmm.
But I got one dog out there right now, and her name's Nutter. She's 8 years old, and she's as hard as the day she started. The day she started, she's as hard still. I'm talking rip out her own.
So, but you still think that her hardest hit was the first one?
Yeah, oh yeah. To the person that hunted her, who first owned her during that time, and then ended up having to move her due to health reasons. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into some of these. We got a lot to talk about, so we'll get back into it. Dapper Trapper Loft. When people buy dogs off famous bloods just to sell and not work, to me that's peddling, riding the coattails of other men's work is peddling. Okay. Famous blood just to sell. Yes. I mean, anytime you get for me personally, if you get a working dog and um you don't work it and do what it's bred for, yeah, that's waste of time. You know what I mean? And I would consider that peddling too. You know what I mean? Because you're just getting the dogs and having pups and selling them. You're not really working them or anything like that. So I would agree with that. But again, to each our own. A good dog man won't sell to the public, only working in sporting homes. And yes, usually great dogs come from being gifted, and also best dogs come from someone who is not known well.
Hey, bro.
I would agree with. I
That,
would definitely
that
agree with the best dogs. Best dogs come from someone who is not known well 95% of the time. 98% of the time. I'll give it 98% of the
yeah,
time.
bro.
I agree with that. The best
That
dogs come from someone who is not known well.
yeah, that guy right there. If I think if that's who I think it is, bro, that's a G, bro. He's talking the truth. Like, yeah, it's
Being
not a
gifted. I also feel like, see, one thing about the great dogs come from being gifted. It's also a lot easier to judge a dog when you get it when it's a gift. When you pay for a dog, you're a lot more harder on what you want it to be because you paid for it. Which also may be coming to the thing which you said with the money thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Kind of fucks up things sometimes.
Yeah, because I've called a lot of dogs that I've paid a lot of money for, man.
Hmm.
And maybe if they were gifted, maybe they wouldn't have gotten that.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's a lot. You judge things a lot with, you know, you give things a lot less opinion when they're free.
Yeah, you
That's
go in
just that's
late.
just in general.
I can give you credit to that. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
late. Yeah.
101 kennels. That's not true. That they're hottest dogs person count. They're not true at all, my friend. Each
Hey,
his own.
he wants to believe. he,
Yeah, I mean, to each his own. That's what this live is for. We all talk about it, but at the end of the day, we all respect each other's opinions. You know what I mean? So serious. Just put a little emoji. I don't know about that. And this was a little while ago, but I think he was talking. I think this is all talking about the fact that the hardest hit is their first hit.
That's fine.
There are quite a few stories of dogs being sounders for seasons and then becoming harder. Not saying this is the norm, but it's well documented. That's true too. There's dogs that got harder over the years. And that's why I was talking about as far as I've seen dogs that were, dogs that were soft, and then someone else took them in, and a year later, 2 years later, they were one of their best dogs in the yard. So I've seen that too. Me personally, obviously, in any one of us personally, in any dog world, whether it's guard dog, whatever, whether it's bird dog, you want to see good signs early. Obviously, that's what everyone would like to see, the good
Yeah.
signs early. But there is cases where there's dogs that just don't really get right too later on. 8 months bulldog versus 2-year-old, 8 month ain't hitting harder. So, and okay, so that's one thing I would say, because if you come down to breed, I definitely think that's not true. If we're talking about, if we're switching up the breeds, like there's not a 6-month-old Rottweiler hitting harder than a fucking 3-month-old Rottweiler. That's just not happening. But in the Patterdale world, I could see how it makes. I'll give you that. I'll give you this, bro. I could see how it makes more sense with what our dogs do and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's fine, because, bro, there have been people that have
Mm-hmm.
given my friends dogs that were supposedly world beaters, and they were the hardest dog. They were the hardest dog. And then they get there, and as they get older, they get fucking softer, bro. And then they cull.
Oh, I've seen both.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I've seen both, but I've seen both sides. But I've seen dogs get harder as they get older more than I've seen dogs get softer as they get older. Just in my experience, but that's my experience. You know what I mean?
Bloodlines, yeah.
Yeah,
Sir.
that's why I said earlier, like, genetics come into play too, for my opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, my experience, I've seen people cur dogs, and then someone else take the dog in and work with the dog for a year, and the dog end up being fucking better than all our dogs. Even if it wasn't. And now I'm not saying this particular situation that I'm talking about, it wasn't a Patterdale, but I'm just using that as an example that I've have seen it, where I've seen a pure cure dog that was like cur, like it was like, fuck it, none of us want it. And one of our other boys was like, fuck it, I got the time, I got the place, I got the space, I'll work with it. And a year and a half later, that dog was iller than all our fucking dogs. You know what I mean? But
I think what people are getting twisted is I never that it wasn't possible. I'm just telling, like, all these people that are getting defensive and saying, "Oh, you're 100% wrong, bro." Okay, cool, that's great. But what I'm saying is in my experience, not in your experience. I could care less. Like, no offense to them, but the only experience I can talk on is my experience. I can't talk on their experience. So in a different kind of a way, sorry, but that's great for you, but it don't really, you know.
yeah. Again, a lot of it comes into, and this is one thing I always try to say. And I'm not trying to teach everyone. I'm no expert. I haven't been doing this for 30 years and none of that. But a lot of it comes down to your environment,
Yeah.
where you're at. A lot, so much of it comes, like, a lot of these arguments, so much of it just comes down to your environment and where you're at. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that's plays such a big part in it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
so, all right. So let me ask you this. You were saying about the beaver hose.
Mm-hmm.
Say you got a dog, you got a Patterdale, 20-pound Patterdale, or whatever. That big enough to maybe work with beavers or whatever the case might be.
Yeah. Most of the time, we're finding raccoons in them, but yeah.
Yeah. So even if there's a coon in there, you think a year-old Patterdale or 8-month Patterdale is hitting that coon harder
From
than a 2-year-old Patterdale?
from the dogs that I own, that first encounter is going to be the hardest that dog is, and it's going to decide if that dog continues to be hard or if it goes to being a softer dog. That
So
first,
that might okay. So again, so you started off with saying dogs, the dogs that you own. So yeah, I mean that might, and respectfully, I'm not saying that might be. I'm not saying, oh, the dogs that you own get weaker as they get older. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I mean, if that's your experience with the dogs that you've owned and the dog that you've had and worked, I mean, that's your experience. No one could take that away from you. You know what I mean? Or say you're wrong. That's your experience.
Because I've got friends that one of the most popular bloodlines in the nation right now, like dead ass, bro. The dogs start off hard and then they get softer as they go. My dogs, they're either going to be hard or they're going to be soft. What I consider to be hard or what I consider to be soft, which is anything.
So you don't think that's what I'm saying? So you don't think that your dogs are getting harder when they hit that? Okay, you have a dog that's 8 months and he hits something. You don't think that they're getting harder as they get older?
They maintain.
You don't think they get harder? You think they stay the same? You think that was the hardest hit, and then they just that was the hardest hit. Boom. Then they just stay here. They don't.
They might get smarter. They may get smarter.
They definitely get smarter. They definitely get smarter. Yeah.
Might get smarter in how they work, but I mean, I got one dog out there who was dragging raccoons out of the hole, which is what his parents did. What they were bred for. They're bred to draw the raccoons out of the hole.
How much did that dog weigh? Go ahead.
Oh,
how much did that dog weigh? Yeah.
He weighs like 17, 18 pounds.
Okay. I was just asking because that was another question scene where it was like, oh, my dog's this much pounds, 13, 12 pounds, and it's dragging a coon or ground. No, it's not.
No, I mean,
these groundhogs puff the fuck up. I ripped the motherfucking groundhog's tail off. Literally, the whole fucking tail came off from the damn body, the root.
Yeah. But I'm
myself pulling the shit. The tail came off and the groundhog still didn't come out.
Yeah, the act of drawing, like, yeah, you might get a dog that might be able to draw, that might be a little bit smaller if he catches the raccoon and like gets him to slip or breaks the traction or something like that.
Raccoons are a little easier too as far as pulling out, my opinion, because they'll latch on to the face, and then that gives that now basically if the dog's backing out, the coon's basically just sliding on its back because everything's holding on to the thing. Where groundhogs flare up. And groundhogs flare up to the point where, like, literally, bro, I had the groundhog I was pulling it myself. Like, we took the dog off, took the fucking brake stick, took the dog off. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to pull it by its tail out myself. And the whole goddamn tail popped off straight from the ass. And the groundhog was still in there. You know what I mean?
I think groundhogs, well, obviously they're way different than a raccoon because, like you said, they do puff out and they will just kind of jam themselves.
They'll lich into, yeah.
But like a raccoon, bro, unless that raccoon's around a curve or something, yeah.
No, I've seen dogs. I've seen dogs pull out raccoons out of holes a couple times. Just because, like I said, they latch onto their face, so now they're just sliding on their back and the dog's just backing out. Shit, you know what I mean? Where groundhogs, if they're getting bit on their ass, they'll just like take the bite and just flare up and not try to get pulled out. You know what I mean?
Because I like my dogs after hunting with several people, like my good friend that lives down here in Oklahoma. We'll call him CM. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After hunting with him and seeing his dogs and understanding his dogs, it's kind of why I did a big overhaul on all of my dogs. After hunting with Robbie, bro, oh God, bro, I did. You want to talk about a dog? You want to talk about dogs that will draw? Robbie's dogs will draw. Mm-hmm. They'll sticky. They'll do everything you want it to do. Robbie's dogs are a whole different beast. CM, all of them, bro, they all have a different kind of style of dogs because of where we live. They want dogs that are going to draw. They want dogs that are going to do this, this kind of stuff. Not CM, but Robbie, he likes dogs that are really, 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 really good locators. Like Robbie's one dog, goodness gracious, people are going
So
to get.
we have a conversation that we always talk about. What do you like more, nose or mouth? So Robbie's dog. Robbie likes dogs with a lot of nose.
Yeah, nose. I prefer a dog with nose. You can't have a good dog if the dog can't find game.
But listen, this argument.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know there's some people in here that are like, here we go. Yeah, I mean, it's not an argument. We don't never call things an argument here on this Wednesday Night Live here on there. We call it a conversation. So there's been conversations where that has come up plenty of times where it's like the bite over the nose. I was the nose. Me myself, I was the nose. But then after my last hunting experience, it brought me a little bit towards the bite. Because there was a dog who just kept finding everything with its nose, but it just couldn't hold on. So it was like, damn, it was almost like a fucking waste of time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, damn, it kept finding everything with its nose, but once it found it, it was like it would bite it, and it just couldn't hold on. So it was like, damn, I'm still 50-50 as far as me, but we don't have to get too much into that. But go ahead.
On that though, how many of those other dogs were following that dog with the nose though?
In this particular case, everyone was like, everyone was kind of like spread out, doing their own thing with their own like group type thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like just just 10 people out hunting dogs just running wild. You know what I mean? Everyone was kind of like,
Because I'm not gonna
I get what you're saying though. I've seen that too though. I've seen that too where there's one dog finding pretty much everything that day. I've seen that.
Because I'm not gonna lie.
When the other dogs follow that dog.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. But the most impressive thing I saw, like, let me put it to you like this: Robbie is such a genuine guy, bro. He's such a dude. He apologized that his dog Griffin only showed us 5 raccoons, 5 possums, 1 armadillo, and 1 beaver in a day. He apologized. He said it was an off day.
That's crazy.
Robbie's dogs, when it comes to locating, bro, when he unclips that leash, they're gone. That's why I speak so highly of it, bro. I would dare to even say that his dogs are the best locating dogs that I've ever seen.
I'm not.
Like,
that being said, in the future, I'm coming with some dogs. That being said, I'm coming with some. I'm not fucking with you. Yeah, I ain't going crazy.
Because Robbie wouldn't shy away. Like he's that kind of man. You've interviewed him, you've talked to him, you know the kind of man he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't do that, and he damn sure doesn't brag about himself.
He's not. He's
super humble.
Just like most of the guys, everyone I have spoken to on here, humble. But yeah, he's definitely one of the more humbler, if that's a word.
Someone who has spent time with Robbie, who has met him in person, I will do the bragging for him.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you that I would bet a whole lot of money that his dog would outlocate a lot of dogs. A lot of dogs.
I mean, I don't know his dog. I know him, of course, as you know, but I don't know his dogs to say you're lying. So
if you ever get to hunt with Robbie Robinette, man, you better take it, because he will show you a time that you're just in shock and awe. Like when I went hunting with him,
I'm definitely gonna get out with him sooner or later for sure. One sec. I want to just show this real quick. This is Billy Houston's company right here. Billy Houston's, just because we're talking about real humble guys.
Yeah.
Right now, it made me think about Billy, and I got his shirt on right now. So everyone go check this out. Billy Houston stuff. He got everything. He got nets if you do the rabbit thing and all that. So check it out. For sure. But keep going, man. Not to cut you off. Sorry.
But I mean, like, yeah, I'll do the bragging on him. I'll do the bragging on my friend that's, from around here see him, bro, I'll do the bragging on him, bro. I really like his dogs. I think he has amazing dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And who else? Yeah, I mean those two guys really, bro. I think really highly of those two guys.
Cool. I'm not mad at you.
In a
I do too.
whole different realm, bro. For
Cool.
what it is, because I mean it was such a cool experience to literally see Robbie unclip his dog, and that dog didn't like la da 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 da. No, bro, that sucker was boom gone, and I mean he was 150 yards out, and Robbie literally knew his dog so well that he would hear a as the dog entered the hole, and then it was silent. And he's like, "All right, he's over here. We got to go hear him." And all you would hear is just raccoons screaming, raccoons piling out of the hole, like real serious.
I'd love to see it one day.
Yeah.
Get back to the chats in the comments. Sounds like he means a mute dog, not a hard dog. A mute dog. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I was kind of like, you know, I don't know if just because it's quiet means it's hard, but I could also see why you would say if it, you know what I mean, if it just kind of like a boxer, like he just
Again,
take punches to the jaw, don't get dizzy, nothing. He just take them and keep going. So
yeah,
I could get what you I could see both sides of that. I could see why your opinion of a hard dog is
and
that, and I could see how that makes sense. So
again, he can believe what he wants. I'm telling you what I believe.
yeah.
Like I get that that's what he thinks.
Again, we all got our own opinions. So doesn't mean either one of you guys are wrong. That's you guys' opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is. What the hell? Nope. I think that's all to the mute and hard dog and the if it's the first encounter is their hardest. We spoke on that. Thanks, brother. Oh, that's because I think you said you know who it is. Thanks, brother. I heard some dogs make sounds out of frustration. And you did say that. You said there's a difference between a dog kind of like yelping and a dog making noise out of frustration. Jamie Park, what's up, sir? Good evening, folks. Shahid told me to be on my best behavior tonight. I'm here to learn tonight. We learn from you. We're still learning from you, Jamie. But yeah, that's another thing that's great about this live is that at the end of the day, we all here to learn. And again, like I always say, we might all have our opinions, but one thing we all have in common is that we love the Patterdale. So whether we like each other or not, we all got that in common, whether you like it or not. Hold on, I didn't read that. Does he mean mentally they hit harder? Not necessarily. And okay, that's a good question. Did you mean mentally? I said mentally and physically they hit harder? You mean mentally because like you said they don't think about the consequences. They don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing yet. So mentally, yeah, because physically they're not obviously a 6 pound. I mean a year-old dog. I wouldn't think your year-old pup is gonna be by your dog by the time your damn dog's 3 years old. Yeah, it should be a lot stronger.
Yeah, mentally.
Mentally, for sure. Yeah, I do agree with him on that. A lot of dogs may start out season hard and decide to call it quits. Okay, so he experienced that too. Jamie Park up, you doing well, pops? Yes, sir. We all. I hope everyone here is doing well. You know, I hope everyone here is doing well, and your family's doing well. Everyone is around you is doing well. You know. I mean, wish good things on people over here. Salute and respect to him for coming on here and sharing his experience and opinions. For sure. One of them, Kennels, thank you. Yeah. Salute to you, man. Chird for coming on here. You know, that's one thing we always like to. Oh, and like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Comment, like, subscribe, share. just helps out the whole channel and algorithm stuff, and we're trying to get more, more people in the Patterdale world in here. Respect for him coming on sharing his opinions. We read that. What line of dogs do you think produce hard dogs on a consistent basis?
The one that have bull put back into them.
And what do you mean, Pitbull?
Pit bull, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, English Bull Terrier.
Because anything, and this is my opinion, anything they want to make better, they put a Pitbull into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything.
I mean, I do it. I'm gonna be the first to tell you, I do it.
I mean, me personally, yeah, I agree with it. I think putting a Pitbull into anything is gonna make that dog better. It might not make the Pitbull better.
No, it definitely doesn't make the pit bull better.
In some cases, depending on what the dog is. If it, you know what I mean, it's only some cases. But
I mean, but what dog?
90% of the time, it gives nothing to the Pitbull. It gives everything to the other dog.
100%. What dog do they consistently add to pit bulls to make them better?
Oh no. Once you use the word consistently, you're correct, 100%. If you say once you use the word consistently, you're correct, 100%, bro. Yeah. It would have to be something like
allowed to make like a pit bull more of like a protection dog. Yeah, you put Malinois into it. Okay, I can see that.
And it gives, but again, that's not consistent.
Yeah, but that's not consistent.
That's why I said once you say the word consistently, you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously, if it's like, oh, we're gonna throw a fucking Kango with it, like obviously it's gonna give the Pitbull more size and shit like that. Yeah. But that's not consistent at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and I see what you mean. So we're on the same page. Oh my gosh, here we go. And Jamie Park's saying that because of the he's one of the main ones that are on the bite over the nose conversations.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Parks, he's bite.
It's hard for your dog to bite something when it can't find anything.
And again, 2 months ago, I was 90% with what you're saying. And then after my last experience, it switched back to 50-50. Just because, like I said, there was a dog that was finding stuff, but it just couldn't hold on, man. You know what I mean? It was like to the point where it was like, fuck, just stop letting him find stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's not holding on. You know what I mean? But hey, that was that one experience. Me personally, I love a hard, smart nose dog, and if a dog is going to be a cur, it's going to let you know as soon as it gets bit, unless it's screaming because it just found out it loves getting busy.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
I agree with that too, but I also
bulldog when it comes from a bulldog pass, bro. Mm-hmm. You believe a certain way.
I think everyone in here comes from a bulldog pass, though.
Not
Most of the people in here do. I know do for sure. But again, at the same thing, I agree with now. If we're talking percentage, if you noticed, I always use percentage. I would agree with that. 70%. But I've seen dogs that look like they wasn't shit, and someone else took the time with them. You know what I mean? Put in the time, put in the work, and a year later, that dog was the shit. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But again, that's 30-20%. The other 70-80 is exactly what he just said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the hell y'all doing putting clothespins over your dog's nose? This guy, man, putting clothing pin over your dog's noses. When it gets where it's going, it had to be. Yeah. I mean, It's that I think that conversation is just gonna keep going on, man.
Yeah.
I think that conversation, because every time someone says something, both sides just make sense. At this point, I'd rather just a dog that's 50-50. Just be able to do both. You know what I mean? Do able to do both well. But I'll probably still take the nose 60 and the bite 40, because you gotta find it. All bullshit aside, Robbie has some very nice dogs.
Yeah.
All right, so one thing you mentioned, we got through the and y'all could if you have any questions, just leave them. Obviously, at one point, me and Chird will get to them. But one question I want to ask you is that I know we spoke about it for a sec. You mentioned it as far as bloodlines and your opinion on the top bloodlines.
The top
And
bloodline, in my opinion,
in the United States, the top blood. I mean, I guess just the top bloodlines, because the bloodlines overseas are in the United States now too.
Yeah. So, in my
And
opinion,
been in the United States, but go ahead.
In my opinion, the top bloodline with the best producing dogs, the best hunting dogs, the best dogs with nose, the best dogs with bite, come from the Inky and Rasta bloodline.
The what?
Inky Rasta, Robbie's bloodline.
So that's Robbie's bloodline.
Yeah, I'm sure he covered it when he talked to y'all.
Oh no.
I'm sure he talked to you when he covered when you talked to him about it.
Inky Rasta.
Yeah.
And where do they descend? Where do they, where did they? What's the original bloodline?
Bro, I don't know.
Okay. Look, hey.
All I know is that those two dogs, which I'm sure Robbie covered it. I know Robbie had to have covered it.
He might have, bro, but I mean,
yeah.
This is what? This is number 30. I've
Yeah.
got so many,
So-
and this ain't the only. I
that's-
do a lot. I indulge in
my
other
opinion-
podcasts too. So
In my opinion, those dogs that come out of Kansas off the Inky and Rasta dogs, or Rasta and Inky dogs, if you want to say the male first and the female second.
so he
Those
has
are
all
the
his
best-
dogs are registered.
Huh?
All his dogs do have papers and are registered, or no?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure his dogs have papers and are registered.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I just want to check them out. I'm gonna look into it a little more.
no, like I have. Yeah. I mean, the dog that I had off of that stuff originally came from the people who bred him beforehand. Which you may have you talked to Scotsman before? He's from Kansas. He knows Robbie. I think you might have. I think it might have been on here.
I would have to look. And then there's another thing where it's like a lot of these guys where you'll say Scotsman, but their name is like different on Facebook.
Oh, well, he probably goes by Scott.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he had a lot to do with those dogs, and that was actually the first bloodline of the terriers that I ever hunted with. And
is it Hampton?
No, not Scott Hampton. No.
Okay. All right, but keep going.
But who do you call it? Yeah, I don't know, man. Those dogs to me are the perfect dogs. Like those dogs.
That's number. Well, actually, a top. What you want to do? Top 3 or top 5?
For what?
Bloodlines.
Oh yeah.
You want to do top 3 or top 5?
I'll do top 3.
I'll
say Old Nuttall, the Old Nuttall dogs, and then I'll say Dale Gill dogs. So whatever they are, like Hammonds, whatever, something. Those 3, in my opinion, for where I live.
So you said Nuttall and Dale Gill's dogs?
Yeah, because everybody's gonna have a difference between what old Nuttall is, but just like the oldest Nuttall blood you can get.
That Nuttall's no bullshit.
Yeah. So like the dogs that Robbie breeds, I've had one off of them, or actually I've hunted two off of them. Those were the best dogs, in my opinion, that I've ever hunted.
Mm-mm.
Like no bullshit, no lackadaisicalness. That dog was in the woods like that. For both of them. So yeah, all that stuff that comes from up there. I mean, like I know some bloodlines, but I don't be reading them as closely like that because it don't really matter to me like that. But yeah, to me, that stuff, anything that's bred old Nuttall, like to true old Nuttall standards, and then what did I say? The Dale Gill stuff. I really like the Dale Gill stuff here recently.
Okay.
Dale Gill
what do you
dogs
think about
machines.
What do you think about what's some other ones? Cocker and Mason, Warren.
I like Mason dogs. Cocker, I don't know. Not really my style.
What
but
you
I've
mean?
got
Too big, too
huh?
you don't like the look, too big, too small, or not too small?
Just the ones that I've been around are annoying, bro.
Okay.
Hard keeps. I don't know. They just aren't really what I would want in a Patterdale.
Okay.
Because like in my opinion, there's two different kind of lines of cocker that are going in the United States right now. What's on the East Coast, or wait, not the East Coast, excuse me, West Coast, and then what's like whatever Calvin, wherever he's located at, that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Calvin's cocker shit is crazy.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah. But I mean, I've got friends that have hunted with them and they like them, and then they won't like certain other ones. And
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
then I've got
any dog where you're not gonna like.
Yeah, and then I have friends, that just they've had it once and they swear off of it, and I've
What
had
you
it a
mean?
little
They had
bit.
what? They had cocker once.
Yeah, and then they had one and done. They won't ever have it again.
Yeah.
And then
do you know people that had them and that they love them? Or
I know one person that's had one that they really loved. And then I know like the guys on the East Coast, or East, I keep saying East Coast, man. I keep getting them mixed up. West Coast, they really like them.
East, I mean, I know a guy on the East Coast who has one, and that dog's an assassin.
Yeah. But I mean, to each their own. Not really my style. I don't really like them. I've seen and heard.
I like the way they look for sure. Me personally, I haven't worked with a lot of them, but I love the way they look. I can say that. You know what I mean? But the one or two that I've worked with, they're fucking assassins.
Yeah, I've just heard. I don't know. I've heard through the grapevine that a lot of them aren't really, they're not really holding up to expectations. Which
again, my opinion on that, and I know I said this before to you. My opinion, a lot of that is the handler.
Yeah.
To me personally, I think there's a lot of them that. Me personally, I think there's just more to putting in your dog than just And I'm not saying everyone that's what everyone does, but me personally, I think if you want to get your dog to where it could be, and
and I'm sure that it could be, and I'm sure that it is, but from what I'm dealing with my understanding and what I've been told by people that I trust, which if you know me, I don't trust hardly nobody. I mean, they're not really being a fan. They're not really being a fan of that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah, I haven't had crazy experience to say,
again, I'm not saying.
I just know the ones I know are good.
I'm just saying,
great.
I'm not saying that every single cocker dog is bad by no means, because I'm sure but I'm just saying that
From
there's other
from
dogs.
what you're hearing, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
from what I'm hearing, and then from what I know, there's other dogs. There's other lines of dogs that I would rather take a risk on.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I would. I'm not saying I would.
Because
Again, I'm not.
you
I
start
haven't.
hearing through the grapevine that one of the
Mhm.
main studs for that stuff didn't start till like 6 years old. That's kind of concerning to me. And or you start hearing that the dogs start off really good and then they get really bad.
You wanna name that main stud, or we keeping it?
Oh, dude, I don't even know. I can't even recall his name. It's
Okay, okay,
whichever one. It's whichever one's over there on the West Coast.
okay, okay.
It's something. But like, yeah, you like hear through the grapevine,
Hmm.
and obviously it's through the grapevine. So, and there's people in here that are going to tell me whether I'm right or wrong. Trust me, I know.
I
Like,
mean,
but
again, that's
but you hear through the grapevine that the dog didn't start until he was 6 years old, and you're sitting there scratching your head. You're like, what the hell? Why would you?
yeah.
you
Me
know?
personally, again, we was talking about earlier as far as having like parents of a puppy. Yeah, if I contacted someone, they were like, "Oh, I got a mother and I got a father, but the father's 8 and I didn't start working him till he was 6." I probably wouldn't get that puppy, to be honest.
Yeah. So whatever it is. But for me, and my understanding, and from what I've heard, and from what I believe, there's other bloodlines I would way more take a chance on
Mhm.
than that stuff. And again, that's just all personal preference and opinion.
And then again, it depends. Again, I think even the area comes in the case because cockers are a little known to be a little bigger. So if you're somewhere where there's a lot of small groundhog holes, you're probably not gonna be
Yeah.
looking for a cocker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought that some of the cocker dogs were getting pretty small now.
Maybe they're getting well now they are, but you
Yeah.
gotta find them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
So, that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, I got one friend that I really trust that they swore by one of the cocker dogs.
mhm.
And then, we don't really ever talk about much of that anymore. But like, you know, there's just we both have found other bloodlines that we might be willing to
They
really
like
like put a chance on more so. I don't know. But like I said, not every dog that comes off of a line is going to be bad. Not every dog that comes off a line is going to be good. But I do think there are dogs and lines of dogs out there that are producing higher numbers than other lines and other styles of dogs.
yeah, that's how
Uh,
that's how it goes in any game. Do you
yeah,
now your experience with the cocker? Let me ask you this: as far as when you're free casting. Now I've one thing I experienced that there's some dogs that in
they beat the
I've kind
bush.
of noticed it with the what'd you say?
They beat the bush. They get after it. They're
Not
not
like they
patient.
get after it. Not if they just get after it, but there's some dogs where I've seen where they'll go out. They'll check, they'll look, they'll do some work, then they come check in.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Now, your experience with the cocker dogs that you've been out, you said you've been out hunting with a couple.
Yeah, with a couple of them. Yeah. Well,
Your experience,
dogs that had cocker in them is
okay,
more like it,
okay.
and like
Your
one pure one what you would call pure.
pure, okay. I get what you're saying. And with your experience with those dogs, do they check in? Do they check in a lot, or do they free cast way out and you don't know where the fuck they're at, and you just gotta kind of like hope they come back type shit. I mean, that's kind of like the
Uh,
situation anytime you're free casting is you gotta hope they
yeah.
come back. But like for
Um,
my dog, for instance, she might go 30, 50 yards out. She might be gone about a minute, 2 minutes. She's gonna check that whole area, and
I
then
mean,
she's gonna come check back in.
I think the ones that I've hunted with may not be a fair representation of what they truly are because I
Mhm.
always start my young dogs off in the woods with a recall collar on.
Okay,
And I train them that after so long, I hit that tone button and they come back. They just
that's
start
too
doing
far.
it. They start
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it
yeah,
by
yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, I've heard stories of cocker dogs just taking off. But I mean, so have my favorite dogs and my favorite bloodlines. They just take off.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like the
I
best
haven't heard
best
stories of
dog that
them
I've ever
taking off
hunted
and
with.
coming back, but I in my experience, they hunt long and they'll go real far out. You
Yeah,
know what
the
I mean? Like I
best.
said, my dog will go so long and then she'll come back, check in, take a little walk with me, and then go check again.
Yeah,
Wherever I seen, go ahead, go ahead.
the best Patterdale that I've ever hunted with, which was off of Robbie's stuff. Okay, he did not know what the meaning of his name meant. When he was in the woods, he was nose to the ground,
Oh
gone.
yeah, they're out of here. They're fucking out of here. I mean,
Yeah,
the dogs I'm around. Once you let them off that leash, they're checking in because they want to check in.
yeah.
Yeah,
His
my dog,
dog.
she's checking in because she wants to check in.
Yeah, I
Her
had to
name
work.
means shit.
Yeah, I had to work. I had to work with that dog. That his name was Ernie. I had to work with Ernie to come back. I had to work with Ernie to come back
In
because
some
he was
Patterdales,
just
I don't
gone.
think it's possible to work with them. I think some Patterdales, I think once they're in them woods and that fucking shit flicks
Yeah,
and
they
they
they glass
trigger,
over. Their eyes glass over.
that
Yeah,
shit's over.
yeah,
They ain't
no,
hearing nothing. They'll check in when they want to check in. But
yeah,
other than that, they're going.
yeah. But I don't know. To me, there's a lot more. Like obviously, hunt drive, nose,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to find, fit, and stay. Those are all important. But the two, in my opinion, overlooked things that I really look for also is ease of keep and cleanliness. And those rank real heavily up on what I consider to be a great
I'm
dog.
glad you said that.
Because dude, I've gotten rid of dogs that will just doo doo in their crate and then
I
walk
think
through it.
so. I
And
had a conversation with my boy, and I told him, I said, one thing about Patterdales, because they're hunting dogs, and they're just you good.
oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, you doing it? No, you good. You do your thing because they're hunting dogs, and because 95% of them are just kept in kennels and just ready to go hunt. They don't know how to fucking act inside
Yeah,
a cage or a kennel. Like they'll
yeah,
just shit and piss and chilling and shit.
yeah. I don't tolerate that. Dogs do that
So
around me. They gotta go.
so my dog, and I never really got into this. So my dog Sin, it's like she's not bad to it. It's like, oh, every day I come home, I gotta clean her out. No, 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 no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I noticed like when she has like if I do if I don't get home to walk them on their normal time when they're used to it or let them out back or whatever the case might be, she has no problem with just going. And with
yeah,
my other dogs, they were like, even if they go, because you have them times where it's like I fucked up. I was out fucking 15 hours, 16 hours because of whatever. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like they're gonna end up, what I mean? And I didn't leave them out back. So I left them in the kennel, so now it's gonna go. But I got some dogs where it's like they'll go over here and they're gonna lay far away from that shit.
yeah,
Where my Patterdale, it's like she'll just having fun of it, like fuck it. You know what I mean? She don't care that it's there or nothing. It's like, and I told my boys like, I told them two things. Once they turn on and they really want to hunt and they really just want to go, even a walk is not a regular walk. They're
yeah,
always fucking searching and looking and
yeah,
walk. Like you pass the trash, you pass any little bush, any little nook or fucking cranny, they're diving into that shit, hoping something's there.
yeah. No, no,
You know
I
what I
agree with
mean?
that. I agree with that. But yeah, no, cleanliness is the biggest thing to me. I've literally removed dogs from my yard because they would shit in the front of the kennel and then walk through it and smear it everywhere and get it on there.
Yeah,
I can't stand that.
she's not that bad to where it's like she's gonna like I'm not coming home and she's all rolled up in it, but
Yeah,
she will go. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
it's like,
And
damn, you don't even try to hold this shit.
that's why I really liked and why I really think highly of the dogs that off of what Robbie breeds because they're quiet in the kennel. They don't make, like, we used to call Ernie, bro. We used to call him Old Man Ern. Okay, because he was like an old man until you got him in the woods, and then he turned into a puppy. He was quiet, never barked. I never heard the dog bark.
Yeah, my dog, my brother dog's like that. His Patterdale's like that. The dog, he just chills into his
Yeah,
game time, and even when it's game time, he just goes. He don't make no noise.
yeah, and that's what I want. And there's certain breeds, excuse me. There's certain lines that are more attuned to that, and
Mhm.
I can't even lie, bro. That's a big factor in why I like certain dogs breeds and why I don't. Like some of the cocker dogs that I've had, bro, they have been menaces. They can't sit still. They're pacing back and forth all the time. They're constantly yapping.
From what I experienced, they're assassin. They, you know what I mean? They want to go.
Yeah, which is fine if you like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you like that. But I've also had dogs that are completely calm in the kennel, never bark, never do anything, and they would out hunt any of that stuff.
You're completely right because
So
again, my brother's dog, his dog is a throat assassin. I mean, he
yeah,
goes straight to the throat and kills shit, but he doesn't make any fucking noise.
yeah.
I probably heard this dog bark maybe fucking once,
Yeah.
twice.
And for me, bro, that's too important to overlook it.
Mm-hmm.
Too important to overlook it. Like it really is. So
I agree. We can get some more of these comments. Got Jamie Parker. Good nose can get you in trouble. A good mouth can get you out. Agree with that. I
yeah.
definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Yes, Robbie's dogs are registered with the PTCA. Yes, they are. Robbie is, in fact, an awesome human. I've got a lot of respect for him and his dogs. Shout out to Robbie.
Yeah, shout out to Robbie. He's a great guy,
Shout out
dude.
to Robbie. And
He's great.
again, for all those watching in here, like, comment, subscribe. And go subscribe to the New England Patterdale Terrier Club channel too. As far as any other Patterdale channels, man. Show love, subscribe. We're trying to bring this thing together, bring the whole Patterdale world together
Yeah,
with love. You know what I mean? It's us versus the rodents. It's not us versus each other. It's us versus the rodents. So that's one thing I like to make clear. It's all love in the Patterdale world, man. We all love Patterdales, and we're all here to help out the farmers and help out. If you're ratting, help out the city. You know.
yeah.
It's us again. It's us versus the rodents. That's one thing we like to say all the time on
Yeah. You know how I told you earlier that the
Mhm.
only reason why I registered one of those dogs was because the breeder asked me to? It was Robbie. He asked me if I would do it, and so I did it.
Me personally, I'm registering my dogs. That's just
Yeah.
I have that being said, I had plenty of dogs that like I said, most of us come from the bull world, and I've never actually had a registered pit bull. It was just okay. Those are the
Yeah.
toughest,
I got
toughest, toughest
paperwork
mother,
sitting.
toughest father in the area.
Yeah,
So we're taking one of
I
those
got
pups.
paperwork sitting on a pit bull over there that I can register. I just haven't.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, actually, three of them. Actually, three of my pit bulls. They're all ADB. They can all be ADBA registered. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, you should do it, bro.
Nah,
You never know. You never know, bro. You should do it.
nah.
What you think of what is it? What you think of the Weaver bone stuff?
Never heard of it.
Me either. Pure Weaver bone.
Never heard of it.
Can you if you're still on here, if you're still watching, hopefully you are. Can you maybe comment a little bit about the Weaver bone? I
Yeah,
could
I've
actually
never.
send the
I mean,
stream link if you want to hop in and talk about it.
I've heard of some dog named Bones before. If that's the same stuff, then yeah, he was fought over like a schoolgirl in the groups for a while there. Somebody would say something and then somebody else would say something. I don't know if that's the same dog, but
Okay.
I mean, Yeah, I've only heard of one dog named Bones, or any sort of stuff like that. And yeah, I just remember it being a lot of contention in the groups and a lot of drama.
Okay, well, I'm gonna yeah, if you're still in here, let us know what you know, what's going on with the Weaver bone, cuz yeah, I've never heard of it. 101 Jamie Park, um who else is there? Keep Scratching. Shout out to you guys, Emily, Dapper Trapper. Shout out to everyone in here. If any of you guys know anything about the Weaver bone, um yeah, comment, let us know. Oh, we'll get to this comment. He's talking about Grundy starting at 6. I wouldn't consider him in the main stud dog. Okay, so the dog you're talking about started at 6. Was named Grundy.
Yeah, I'm saying he's the main stud
Just one
dog on the
that was
East
bred
Coast
more
or
than
the
others.
West Coast. He's the main
Okay.
stud dog on the West Coast.
Okay, so he was 101. He was saying he's the main stud dog on the West Coast. You might be able to say a little bit more than that, but might be able to tell us a little bit more about that situation or whatever. But yeah. I've owned Weaver Bones, still have seen stored off them. Okay. Now, I gotta ask you, what's up with the Weaver Bone? Is it what do you think about the Weaver Bone stuff? Let's just ask that. What do you since you have semen stored, it must be something that is okay or good or great. I would assume you wouldn't waste your time storing the semen on something that was wax. So yeah, if you could tell us a little bit of about it, 101, that would be great. If you don't mind. If you don't, it's all love. It's all love too. You know that. What lines are known for being so hot they go for it? They go for each other. Okay. You know any of the lines?
Booth, Booth dogs. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of the cocker, no, actually not some of. A lot of the cocker dogs I've seen have been hot to a certain extent.
Okay.
You have to have a handle on them, but I mean, as a whole, I don't think Patterdale guys of any kind really want that in their dogs. So I think it's
Yeah,
it,
for the most part, people in the Patterdale world, from what my understanding, don't tend to breed the dogs that have a
yeah,
lot of that in them.
yeah, and I mean, obviously that comes more so with my dogs because I put bull in them, but those ones I don't ever breed or keep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a undesirable trait, definitely for me. Yeah, I think it's a terribly undesirable trait. I think having a dog that is selective, though, I don't think that's that bad because I've had dogs that are selective, like male selective or female selective.
Mm-hmm.
But a dog that's just outright trying to hit another dog, bro, nah, not for me, bro. You gotta get rid of
Nah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. If I can't get it out the dog gotta go.
Yeah,
It's just for so many different reasons. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And one thing I like to say all the time when it comes to that type of situation, just because I had I have conversations with people all the time, is that some people would say, "Oh, I keep them. I just keep them away from the other dogs." Um, but that dog's attitude and his vibes can also make another dog act like him. It
yeah,
doesn't. It's not something where it's like it's gonna happen all the time, but if they're around, if you got a dog who's aggressive towards other dogs and another dog's around them enough, they will just think that's the thing to do.
yeah. I guess, yeah,
It's not like I said, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And it happens, obviously it might happen in other breeds. And again, this is Live Your Life Dogs. So sometimes we fuck with all dogs. It could be a poodle. We love all dogs here at Live Your Life Dogs. You know what I mean? So again, I could be thinking more of other breeds, but
Yeah.
it definitely
Some of
happens.
the some of the dogs that are down here that are like that have some gill dogs in them too. They can be kind of hot sometimes too. But I think that's the bull blood in them. Uh, but yeah,
Well, yeah, anything that has that pit bull in
as
it
for me,
has a chance of being there.
as for me and mine, and what and the people that I run with, bro, it's a colorable offense. It's a straight up colorable offense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
there's nothing worse than having some 14-pound dog who constantly trying to smash into another dog, and
It's just
they
too
want
much
it.
work.
Yeah, and they want to almost hit the other dog more than they want to hunt, bro. They gotta go. They
Yeah,
gotta go in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
my dog, I have a pit bull. Like I said before, he's yeah, he's not dog friendly at all. So
Yeah, but that's
he's cool with
expected of the
my
breed.
dogs, but yeah, I just deal with it, and I'm responsible older, so I'm good. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a pit bull trait though.
yeah, he gets along with my dogs. I got a female lech, and of course my Patterdale Cinnamon. He gets along with them fine, but even them, you know, when he's around them and they're all chilling, I'm
Yeah,
watching very closely.
yeah,
Bones was my dog. Okay, so 101 Kennels, Bones. You was talking about the dog Bones that you ever heard of. Bones was one of my dog, and he said you was right on the West Coast. Um, that dog was definitely the Gundy
yeah. And
was
I don't
definitely
even
the
know, dude. From Gundy, the last time I heard, he was pretty old, so I don't even know if he's still kicking. But if he is, cool.
definitely cool. We want them to all kick as long, and that's one thing I would like to say too is yeah, once these dogs get, and I'm not saying anyone in here doesn't or don't, but just in the dog world in general, as far as like working dogs, um, there's one thing that's pretty common is, once they're kind of once they're not able to work as much, or once they're kind of retired or they're just older, some people just, don't don't give the dog the same love, and again, this is not saying I'm anyone in here or anyone in the Patterdale in general. But again, this is Live Your Life Dogs, and we got other people that see these just not in the Patterdale world. And that's one thing I would like to be said is that if your dog did its job for a certain amount of years, when that dog retires and that dog's not able to do it no more, take care of that dog the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let it
you yeah
let it
you
live
owe
out
it
its
to him.
life great. Give it that soft pillow to just lie on. It's retired, and just live its life out great and take it out. What was you gonna say?
Yeah, no, yeah, you owe it to him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, your partners. You know
Yeah,
what I
you owe
mean?
it to him.
Yeah, he did his job for however some dogs gonna do their job for 5 years. Some dogs are able to do their job for 8 years. Me
Yeah,
personally, a lot of that comes down to genetics and then health, the way you take care of that dog. Obviously, if you're feeding the dog good throughout its years, I think just food in general is gonna be more healthier than the dog that's eating bullshit its whole life. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But
no, I can see that.
yeah, that's one thing I just like to say real quick as far as you know what I mean, because I seen a video the other day and it was kind of like a guy was like, oh, it was kind of like, oh, the dogs once the dogs don't. And it wasn't in the Patterdale world, so let me make that clear. It wasn't no one in the Patterdale world. It was a whole different breed, but it was kind of like he just didn't take care of his dogs the same way. It wasn't they were kind of like, oh, once they not able to work, they're not shit. It's like, bro, they put in that work for you for years. You know, give them
Yeah,
that good food, give them that clean water, give them that nice pillow to lie on every night, and
yeah,
live their life out good. You know what I mean? They did their job for you. You guys are partners. Take care of your partner, man.
yeah.
Take care of your dog. Take care of your partner. Take care of your best friend. What are we talking about tonight? Everything stink. We getting stinky in here. Stink. We talking about everything. Sounds sounds like dog aggression. That's probably what you just heard when you hopped in here, but we've been talking about anything, man. Anything and everything Patterdale is what we do over here. Bones was a good mute dog, a very good producer, good nutter booth cross with good nutter boot cross. If my memory serves me right, he lacked in intelligence, but his offspring were better in that regard. Okay. So these are all dogs. For those who just hopped in, these are all dogs that we was talking about earlier. Thank you, 101 Kennels. They have one-track minds. Dispatch anything with pure. Got Jamie Park back on here with a call me. Shout out to Mr. Dale Gill. Shout out to Mr. Dale Gill from Jamie Park. And shout out to Jamie Park always. I was hunting Mr. Gill last weekend. I swear he looks young as. Hey, that's good. If you could look young as the years go by, that's good. Let us know what he's drinking. What type of whiskey he drinking? Make
I
him
don't
look
think
younger
he
like
drinks
that.
if memory serves.
Yeah, I heard that too. That's why I said that.
Yeah, yeah.
But for adrenaline, that is a true statement. They have one-track minds. They seem to do best if they ate out a good location. Bitch, Bones himself was the average locator. Okay, so that's talking about the cocker. That's
No,
talking about
Bones, according to him, was Gould, Nuttall, and Booth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's talking about Bones. All right, cool. He's done talking about Tommy Weaver dogs are solid. And what are his? Do you know?
Tommy Weaver would be this guy who bred the Bones dogs. So Booth, Nuttall, and Gould.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a lot of the Booth dogs are legit. Mother dogs legit, but again, it's all opinion.
Yeah.
It's all opinion.
Well, they all stem from the same old base, which is Nuttall.
Very true.
Every dog does.
Very true. Yeah, yeah. That's what's crazy about it. But you know, as time goes on, though, I think a lot of breeding and all that, a lot of breeding, doing a lot of different things with the dogs change. You know what I mean? As far as like, they all stem from Nuttall, but a lot of them are definitely a lot different from the original Nuttall. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean?
but they all stem from it. It's just like in pit bulls, bro. They all stem from
Ireland.
Tudor, or you always got your base dogs that everybody kind of goes back to, and for me, it's just always gonna be Nuttall.
I mean, shit, if you go, that's just, I mean, depending on what your beliefs are on, that's just same thing with humans, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Everyone goes back to the garden if you believe in God. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
no,
So,
100%.
but yeah. So, damn, shit. What was I just ask you?
Gould
Something.
dogs, yeah, Gould dogs. From what are my understanding, they had a little.
Tommy didn't bring Bones though. He shouldn't be called Weaver Bones. He was bred by Mr. Gibbs.
Well, listen, people are gonna start getting into this and names and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's when y'all start to lose me personally. I don't, I don't care.
One. I mean, again, teach his own. If you don't care, me personally, I love to know all this because it's just knowledge that I just take in. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
101, 101 knows the stuff. So it's good. It's good. It's definitely good to have him in the chat to because he's answering a lot of questions that yeah, he might be the only one to be able to answer these questions. So shout out to 101 Kennels for being in the chat heavy today. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Please like, comment, subscribe. For anyone who's might have just hopped in, like, comment, subscribe. Is there anything else you wanted to get into, Chird?
Nah, man. I'm just gonna say,
If don't make sure you want to say it, because it could be a whole nother conversation.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I get that. But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that, like, I don't know, that I'm not going to get the credit for recognizing how good producer Bones was and for finding how deep game. What time? I don't know what that comment makes.
I think what time you definitely should get credit for recognizing how good producer Bone was. Basically, he's a good dog and he should get credit.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, yeah, if you want to give him credit, that's fine. But whatever, it don't matter on that. But all I'm gonna say is that there's a lot of stuff in Patterdales to there's a lot of stuff in Patterdales that recently maybe not a lot of us would agree with. Not everybody's gonna be the most vocal on, and I just want to encourage people that just because one person seems to always have the answers or always be answering stuff or always be doing anything, whether whoever that is in a group or who you talk to or whatever, don't be scared to ask the questions. Don't be scared to, like, speak your experiences. Don't be scared to just to have any sort of a voice, because it's everybody's voice in these dogs is going to be valuable, and everybody's voice in the dog,
and we all learn from it. Like, again,
and you all learn from it. And the one thing, and one of the other things that I was gonna say is like, also, don't be scared to share your experiences with like dogs in general, lines of dogs, stuff like that, because what might be perfect for one person definitely ain't gonna be perfect for the next. And in this conversation here, we've really gone over that, and I just want to say that's probably the most important takeaway from this for me, is that what I believe somebody else may not believe, which clearly other people don't, which is fine. But what I am going to say is that anyone who tries to take away from your experience, tries to be demeaning, rude, call you out for your experiences, is a lesser person because of that. And
I agree.
And I think that's just always going to be something that I'm always going to want to reiterate. Ask the questions, talk to people. Bro, you only get better by talking to them, bro. You only get better by talking to people. And I think the other thing is like, even Marshall said it on the first podcast that we did together. All right, Marshall said something that
shout out to the bro Marshall.
Yeah,
Marshall said something
that
or later.
Marshall said something that really stuck to me. He said, I've hunted with people that I don't agree with, and I've hunted with people that I agree with, and I still learn something new, whether I agree with them or whether I don't. And I will be the first to admit, I probably got about 4 people that I agree with when it comes to these dogs, and there's a lot of people I don't agree with. But
even those people you don't agree with, though,
but I still,
if you have respect. A full conversation, there's still some things that you will agree with.
Yeah, no, there's some things. There's some things, but I just want everybody to know that the only way that these dogs are going to get better, the only way these dogs are going to continue, is if it's a group collective and not just one person speaking for everybody.
Of course. Of course. That's I mean, that's why, that's why sports teams have 50 coaching staff. You know what I mean? Because it's a group thing.
It takes an army. It takes an army to conquer something, man. And I really
And
think that everything like that should be kind of taken like that.
and we're the army, and we're here to conquer rodents.
Yeah.
So, and that, I'm gonna keep saying that because the fact that one thing I know, you know, that's just naturally in us is that we all come from the bull world. So that natural my dog is better than your dog is in us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, again, I say it all the time. It's us versus the rodents. It's not
Yeah.
our dogs. We should all be rooting for each other's dogs because even, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Even
I
if it's a
agree.
competition.
And I agree with that. And I agree with that. But you also gotta realize that
Mhm.
sometimes, bro, there's people that are gonna be screaming that their dogs are the best.
Oh, that's the way it goes. There's some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that
yeah.
can't get over it.
And there's some people that can't get over it. And then there's some people that sometimes, man, they just get sick and tired of hearing it. And then
Mhm.
that's when it clashes. And I can admit that, bro. And the one
Oh, I
thing
mean,
people
that's the
will,
human in us. That's
yeah,
the human in us. But that's why that's why I'm here.
yeah. But they
Because
have,
I'm trying to, and there's always gonna be that, and that's life. You know what I mean? But we
yeah,
always, at the end of the day, it it stems from naturally just us being competitive as men. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But at the same time, it's like, you know, we again, it's simply said, it's us versus the rodents. In this game, it's cool. Your dog's better than mine. As long as they're all getting
but
rodents.
they're better in, but they're better in their mind. They may not be better in your mind, but they're better in their mind. And that's
And
that's
then,
another important thing that I think people need to understand is that every person's version of what is perfect is subjective to that person.
well, I get that, but that being said, there's nothing perfect, but so there's and like you said, there's situations where it's okay, everything is better in their mind, everything is better than in their mind. That's when something can be compared. So it's kind of like okay, you could put two quarterbacks together. You could say, okay, those two quarterbacks, you could say Matthew Stafford and Drew Brees, they're almost the same. So in that case, it's gonna come down to the person and their opinion. Then you can compare them to Joe Montana, Tom Brady. Now it's plain and simple. If you was to say Matthew Stafford or Drew Brees is just as good as Tom Brady or Joe Montana, now you're just lying. Now you're just not paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things where it's close, where it's like, okay, there's opinion where it's like, okay, my dog, your dog, and my dog, we could argue about it. Who's better? Who's better? Who's better? Who's better? But if we both go out and we put them in the dirt, you might get two dogs that both put in work, that both you realize like, damn, these dogs are both 50-50. These dogs do both good at this, both good at that, both good at this, both good at that. Then you might go out with two dogs where it's like clear as day, this dog is better. It's
Oh
not.
yeah.
It's you know what I'm saying. That's the thing about it. You know what I mean. So at the same time though, you're all there to catch the same thing.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean. You're all there to do the same thing. Get rid of these rodents. So that's what it comes down to me. Like you know what I mean. At the end of the day, there's there's I love the Patterdale and I would love to have one of the best dogs in history or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I'm having fun with the people I love and making new friends and the dogs I love and doing what we love. And that's the biggest part about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's us versus the rodents, and
Yeah.
we'll take it from there, man. Just have a good time with your dog, love your dog, and do all
Yeah.
the right things with it. With all these talks of males, I'm gonna say that the bitch is the main foundation, in my opinion, of the bitch brings out the body style, temperament, mental stability. Your thoughts? I
Yeah.
mean, that's your opinion, but
Nah, bro. Nah. In my belief, bro, the females make a yard. The females make a yard. I agree with him 100%.
I mean, so the whole thing is right. That's true, somewhat, because from what I've learned, and I might be wrong. I wouldn't say I'm wrong, maybe because I've read up on it enough. But say if you got a litter of 6 dogs, you could have 3 dogs that got more genetics from the mother, and you could have the other 3 dogs that got more genetics from the father.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I see what you're saying, but in my personal opinion,
Hmm.
the females make a yard.
Okay.
The
Well,
females make
all
a
right.
yard.
So is that because genetics, or is because the females having the puppies?
No,
Just asking to see.
that's just because, in my opinion, it's harder to find a good female than it is to find a good male.
Okay.
Because every female that I've got out there right now, bro, I fought tooth and nail to get. The male, I mean,
Which
bro,
which you,
I've had a lot of good ones.
so you're saying as far as you're saying as far as availability.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, like, go to your
I'm saying
favorite
as
breed.
far as I'm saying, I think he's saying more though as far as genetics. Like
Yeah,
bitch
I
brings
think
the body
genetic.
style. So you think the bitch always brings the body style, the temperament, and the mental stability all the time?
I think that the bitch controls the most when it comes to genetics.
I would agree, maybe mental stability.
Yeah, no, I think that the bitch
But the
controls
body style and
90%.
temperament, I think that's 50-50.
Mm,
I think body style is definitely 50-50.
yeah, but I mean, body style is like one of the least important things. I mean, I've seen terrible males bred to fantastic females and produce great dogs. I've seen terrible females be bred to fantastic males and there've been good dogs. And then I've seen two fantastic dogs be bred together and the puppies were absolute dookie. So I
Well,
think
that's
like,
because, well, that's still genetics though.
yeah, but I'm
Because sooner or
saying,
later it's gonna come down to what was in that same dog's
yeah,
grandparents and great grandparents.
yeah, to a certain extent, but once you get 3 generations away, bro, that it don't play. You're breeding on what the dogs were 3 generations ago, not what the
Yeah,
famous
but I
dog
mean,
was 5.
no, I didn't that's why I said grandparents and great grandparents.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And
And
that's,
so, but I mean, I can definitely see where he's coming from because, like, in a bulldoggers world, bro, the bitch makes the yard.
look,
Like
you're definitely right.
your bitches are your most valuable thing because I know for me, bro.
I think
Yeah,
that's more though.
there might
Not to cut
be
you off, I think that's more though because they're the ones that hold the puppies and all that. I don't know if that's necessarily more because as far as genetics.
mm,
I mean, we could
I
shoot.
mean,
That's something we could definitely look into, you know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, if you really want to talk about that, I recommend you do something that's maybe not so much about Patterdales, but you talk to what's that guy's name? Lee something with American Sentinel Canines, man. That man will break it down for you. That man's so smart when it comes to dogs. That's who I would recommend if you want to talk about the importance of a female versus a male or whatever it is. He'll be
Oh
able to
yeah,
break.
well, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a see, if you just Google it, it says the pups inherit an equal 50% DNA from the mother and 50% DNA from the father.
Yeah.
with each parent contributing 39 chromosomes to the offspring, 78 total.
Yeah, but I mean, again, everybody's gonna have their own beliefs, man.
Yeah.
Me personally,
That's a whole deeper conversation.
I bet more on my gyps and I bet more on my bitches than I do my studs. I expect way more out of my bitches and way more out of my studs.
I agree with. I mean, my experience too. That's been the case. That's been the case. But yeah, we can get into more of these comments and then shit. Damn, it's been 2 hours. It's been on 2 hours. But that's how life works as men. We don't agree on everything. Working dogs differ for everyone. Definitely. And I mean, for instance, I mean, again, I think more than people realize, and I would say even 80% comes down to your environment, and people don't take that into thought when they're having conversations. You know what I mean? Sometimes an argument, sometimes a fight. Of course, on here, on this live and this channel, it's always a conversation. We're not arguing, we're not fighting, but yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely agree with that. But I would agree that from what I'm saying when it comes to the Patterdales and the work, a lot of it comes down to where you're at. A lot of it comes down to where you're at. Like if I'm where Chird's at, I probably wouldn't want a 10-pound Patterdale. But if I'm where I'm at, there's groundhogs, small groundhogs holes, so you're gonna need something smaller. What's y'all? Oh, that's a good question. Before we get up out of here, what's your favorite game to encounter, Chird? What's your favorite game to encounter?
Raccoons. The real test.
Which is
my opinion.
So raccoons is top notch. Do they have badger where you're at?
Yeah, they do, but good luck getting them to hunker down. They're constantly moving. In my opinion, the perfect testing medium for a terrier to see what a terrier has is a raccoon.
Okay. Even more than a badger. Or it's like your Patterdale's dead with a badger.
Nah, your Patterdale ain't gonna be dead. But I mean, good luck getting them in the hole. I mean, just the scarcity of them. And plus, badgers can turn 180 degrees in their own skin, dude. So they're basically like a battle tank with teeth and claws. Where raccoons, I mean, yeah, they're hard, but they ain't like that.
Mm-hmm. Female the foundation. Anthro. What's up, Anthro? Where you been, man? Shout out to Anthro back up in here. Anthro's always in here. Leaving comments. Like, comment, subscribe again. Please share. Dominant versus recessive traits. Don't know sex. Hey. That's a scientist question, bro. Man, just work the dogs that make you happy and fuck what other man has to say. I agree with you, Stink. I agree with you. But respectfully, we all got our own opinions. You can respect a man's other opinion. You don't gotta say fuck their opinion. You know, I don't move on those vibes. I'm always gonna respect everyone, but Stink, I ain't mad at you. Good quality bitch is worth her weight in gold. They hold more genetic value than a male.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone agrees with you. Badger and raccoon are my favorite. 101. I love the coon. I like the groundhog dig too though. I like the groundhog dig. I ain't mad at it. Muscle up. Raccoons are vicious suckers. They will test your stock. Very true. Very true. I agree. Coon and badger are a lot of genetics come from the females. So, hey, I agree with it. I just, there's the grandparents in there too, and it's said to be 50-50. I think more of the attitude comes to the female, but I think a lot of the size and stature conformation, head size, neck size, and all that, that's when the male comes in. But again, I'm no scientist. I'm no genetics person or shit like that. But again, we've been on here for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I want to thank everyone for coming through. I love groundhog. Don't get me wrong, 101s, man. I love the groundhog. It's a good time. It's a little bit of work. It's scary. It can get scary when them dogs down in that ground, but good show. Cheers to everyone. Yes, cheers to everyone. Chird, you want to say anything before we get up out of here, bro?
I hope I didn't ruffle too many feathers.
But we good. We good at this live. It's all love always.
But yeah, the one thing that I'm just gonna restate: just don't ever let anybody look down on you for what you believe. Always state your mind, and just keep it pushing. That's the only way dogs get better. And surround yourself with good people, not people that cause drama. Make sure those are the first people you cut out, and it will carry you a long way in dogs.
Okay, I agree with that. One thing, well, I might leave this as a quick little note. Take a little pic. I also believe that working a pregnant bitch passes something down to the pups, and they tend to start early. Just my opinion. That is something that is gonna give me, and I like it because I like to look into dog things and just looking deeper into things. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not true. I'm not. Again, we've been on here for 2 hours and 12 minutes. We're not gonna get into it too much. Church is laughing. Maybe maybe I could get Churd on here again next week, and we can get into more of that and have fun with it again because I like having you on here. But yeah.
Bro, I'm sorry, but that
Fuck it. Say what you gotta say, man.
bro, that
If we go 3 hours, we go 3 hours, man.
no, we ain't going
man.
3. We ain't going 3 hours.
Patterdale Talk, man. What
Bro,
it is.
that just we ain't going 3 hours. We ain't going much longer than this. But that's a crazy statement, my man.
So what you saying? You saying you just don't agree 100% or what?
I think that it. Yeah, no, we ain't gonna get into that, bro. I got work.
All right, we get into what you saying. I think I like it.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. Again, to each their own.
To each your own, man. To each his own. Okay, so now I wrote that. Okay. It's called epigenetic imprint. Thank you, Anthro. Shout out to this gentleman for sharing his opinion and experiences. Yes, shout out to you, Churd. Thank you for coming through. And yeah, it seems easier than it seems easy, but everyone in here got lives. Everyone in here got things to do. So, Churd took his time to come out here and come talk to me, and so I appreciate it. And it's not taken lightly because life is real. And you took hours out your life to come here and talk to us, so I appreciate it. But yeah, we're gonna get up out of here. We've been on here for 2 hours and 14 minutes. What's this say? One more. Actually, you're right. They can pass that on on that blood flowing in them pups. Okay, so all right, we're gonna listen. Listen, we're gonna put a freeze on it. Everyone likes that topic. So next week, that might be the topic. Or actually, next time I'm not gonna do that. Next time we get Chird in here, that'll be the topic. So we can get on and we'll talk about it. Chird, me and you will talk so we can get you on here as soon as possible and
Yeah,
get
man.
back into it. But yeah, we're not gonna get into it too much tonight, guys. Appreciate y'all for the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. So I mean, like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah, thank y'all for coming through. So, Live Your Life Dogs, New England Patterdale Terrier Club, and of course, you know we rock with the PTCA. And Chird, again, thank you for coming through. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Everyone have a good night.